plant.
Big.
Hmm?
They get big.
They do.
They stand up like this one. No more.
Oh, yeah.
Mhm. It's just a small price.
Hmm. Ain't gonna get that big.
That's the one.
Evergreen, and they stay green like that.
I plan on getting something for Mr. Fisher for his birthday.
Yeah, peace and love to all always live.
Go all the way live.
Sugar you. Get placed on the screen. So these are some important lessons for us to really tune into. Let's see. Share. That's that. The most hidden knowledge is the hidden knowledge of self. Mm-hmm. When we hear the word creator, what comes to mind?
I hear anything else.
That's right.
You don't even hear the word creator no more. This
right.
is the I was thinking about. You can take this candy, or you can put anything you want to put in his head, and he'll believe.
And believe it. I mean, anything.
But see, this is what we got to realize about self, that the self is open. That's why your ears ain't closed.
Mm-hmm.
Anything can sink right on in and you take over.
Mm-hmm.
You learn the new. This is the wrong thing that you have learned.
Knowledge of self, knowing what you stand for.
Mm-hmm. Your purpose. Back on.
Once you start going to the self,
Yeah.
you know yourself.
Mm-hmm.
You know you have a creator.
Another man said his name is God. He knew his creator, and another person didn't know, and he wanted to know. I wonder, do you know anybody today is a victim of that?
Good question. Evident.
Evident.
The world is operating.
It's operating. Whether it's
some
right
people-
or wrong.
Right, and some people in it
That's right.
ain't operating with
There's
the
a
world.
lot of crazy stuff going on.
Mm-hmm. This word God has just took it over.
God is taking over. It's nothing.
Nothing there. The self-
Yeah. Yeah.
Because it just mentioned with Kuta Kinte. We seen that
We see that. They
after
showed
the
us
settlers
stuff.
came.
That's right. And they showed us a picture.
Right, and they
What
showed after the settlers came, they
Yeah.
they wanted them type of people to change.
Yeah. Sure did.
They wanted wherever they settled, they wanted them people to
That's
change
right.
their own identity
Yeah.
and claim another
Yeah.
identity.
Be like Mike.
To go from just metaphorically from Kenta Kunte to Toby.
Be Toby and be a good Christian.
Yeah, so that's like leaving your origin
And
culture, which is Islamism, and joining and by converting now through baptism.
Yeah.
See, remember, that's a form of baptism when we're talking about name change.
Yeah. What it say in the name of who? What are they telling you? The spell goes on.
This is part of the ritual. You know, that's part of the science. That's why they were showing in the movie that science, that baptism can happen without no water. It was a whole nother form.
Yeah.
And that form made them convert. And they showed that purposely to install fear that if you don't convert, then you're going to see what you seen on the movie in reality.
Yeah. And if the boogeyman show you that he'll cut your foot off, that ain't enough.
Just think about them moments of time when you see they really scared of something. They don't play. They get away from it.
That's right. They're hard. He won't let us do that.
That's what we say. So this concept is real.
It's real.
So if one mind doesn't mature by coming back to yourself,
There you go.
if you just leave your mind with God outside of yourself,
All the trouble on the world in the hands of God. I'm gonna let God. So all of us they turn it over to God. But for some reason, the condition don't change. How many times and how long we've been turning it over to God, and look what a mess we have right now as I speak.
that's the turning point of.
How could this be? If it's in God's hand.
This is where I mean, this is where mature minds stand apart from immature minds. Because the goal of self is to mature. The goal of self is just as a seed, is to mature to its. So when we understand why the word technically, when you go into, let's just say, church, you do not hear the word self.
No, not at all.
This word in church, if you go to church, this word self has been covered by the word God. And so now people now go to church to worship God that they understand about themselves.
Yeah.
No animal can do what a human can do.
Right on.
This is the distinction between an animal and a human.
Yeah.
And what is separating them two. Because they both from the Creator.
Yeah. Right.
But one make a sound,
Speak.
but he have a voice.
He comprehend.
You will be wild right now if you seen a tall.
Gotta be glad they can't talk. And I knew this for the season. And I knew that if he fixed it, was a powerful message in existence.
To its origin, when people went to the pyramids, there was and that statement was not know thy God. And this is evidence.
Well, they ain't never said that about that, never ever shown that on TV about this sign that you're talking about.
Right. That's why we want to know that we shouldn't be running around a circus. We should be growing and growing as a tree, higher and higher in elevation,
upward,
producing better and more tastier fruits. So when you go to the pyramids, before entering, you see a statement, know thyself.
That's beautiful. What you say.
Not know thy God. So when we come with the translators, the translators translate self out the picture.
Out the door. Omit.
Obliterate self.
Omission.
He has nothing to do with it. We're going to replace that word with the word God. And this has caused confusion across the minds in all languages ever since.
That's right. That's correct. That's correct.
And now that's due to the insufficiency of knowledge.
Yeah, that's correct.
And so we're going to begin with a little chapter out of Circle 7 from the prophet Noble Drew Ali. So this is chapter 33, the insufficiency of knowledge. This is why we have to begin at the origin. In the beginning, God created the heaven and the earth.
That's what I read, and that's what I've been told.
All right. So we're going to hit two statements, but before we open that statement up, we want this statement to be known. In the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth.
This is the very beginning.
Listen to this.
What?
So this is why people has replaced, and now instead of calling on self, now self is calling on something else. Well, Allah, see, this is where the difference comes in. Not that the word God is wrong, but in the sense of its context. That's not Allah.
That's right.
Because Allah never created a heaven.
No,
So in the beginning, either this God is self, or now let's ask our own self. Are we creators?
How about that? So when did you get that? And now you and now you learned that is from time up until now. That's what preaching. Yeah.
This is in the Genesis.
Hmm.
When John states in the beginning was it's only one creature that speak word.
That's self.
And that's self. A living creature speaks word. This is into the with God.
That makes sense.
On a high self, they cover it with the devil.
That's right.
Both of these two are interchangeable with self.
That's correct.
So you will hear a story about
God, and you hear a story about the devil.
There you go. So when it comes to God and the devil, or God and Satan, God casted Satan out of the heavens.
Out the heaven.
Let's just say
Book of
this is what the book of Revelation saying. And that
wall going on.
And then it said where the Satan was casted to.
Yeah, to the earth.
To the earth. So now self ain't seen no God on earth. But self on earth.
Yeah.
Is that right?
Yeah.
So when we talking about who was cast to earth, was
Satan and all his associates.
Right. Was it God or Satan?
Satan.
Because one said that Satan was cast to earth. And then one says in the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth.
Yeah. But
and so these two, the only way they make sense, these two will wrestle with people's minds.
Yeah.
Because these two are mythology.
Yeah.
These are anthropomorphisms.
Yeah.
Meaning giving creatures human features.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
So they put a face on the devil.
Yeah.
Draw him with some features.
Yeah.
Put a face to God. Draw some features.
Yeah.
He walking in the garden. He got features. The Satan.
Yeah.
He got features. He's cast out from the heaven.
Yeah.
So all this got form, shape, and dimension.
Yeah.
So self is the only answer that answer all these interchangeable terms. So the only way we get to that answer is through the circle 7, where it says that Allah never created a heaven for man.
That's right, and it makes so much sense.
He never created a hell.
Sure did.
We is a indication as a plural, meaning that that's a collective individual.
Yeah.
So self is an individual, and there's many selves in the world that we call a population.
That's right. It makes it community and population.
Which makes us we.
The
true we the people.
The true we the people.
But we, the creators, is the more precise term.
Right.
Yes, the more authoritative term.
Come on with it.
So instead of they playing God, we gonna play creator.
Yeah.
Y'all
that makes so much sense to me. Right on.
Right. We have then it's just short little sentence and I'll be out. We are the creators and we make our own.
Oh, right on.
Yo.
Yeah. That's what's in our power now. We have surrendered that. Our creativity, and we become better by turning to the white man, asking him for this and that. Let's go back to this beginning that you read out of the book of Genesis. In the beginning, God created the heaven and the earth. My point now is when we go to Revelation, and we find out that there was a disagreement going on in heaven, and somebody wrote God or the divine creator, and where they just say God, and it was cast out. But how in the hell in heaven
And see, that's why people, it's scientific. See, you got to raise above those levels for the mind. So that state, that old serpent called the devil. So this is why people are deceived. They have no place of authority besides their own belief, but their belief is a form of assumption.
Yeah.
They have no validation to prove God or the devil. Yeah. And since they have no validation outside of text,
that's what it is.
Since these traders have made something anthropomorphic and placed it outside of self, each self now is claiming God and devil as the salvator or the demolisher.
That's right.
So this is what people are getting to, and then in between God and devil is Jesus.
Yep.
A medium,
the Savior.
A medium that supposed to take away sin.
Yeah.
So that's three things outside of self that's very potent.
Yeah.
Everybody minds in America, they have God in it, devil in it, and Jesus in it.
Yeah.
And these three forms are anthropomorphized forms to take self and bring it out of itself, and then have self identify itself with what's not self.
That's right.
So in a book, self could never be. But if self is coming to a book, now it needs characters to play out in order for this imagery to be known. So most people are deceived in the whole world.
Yeah.
Because of this statement that I'm bringing through. Most people ain't getting this. They at church today. Most people ain't getting this divine teaching right here. Gospel is being played right now.
Yeah, God's faith. That's what's putting.
Not no great science that would liberate all souls.
Yeah.
So when it says in the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth, then we got, and the great dragon was cast out. And it said, call the devil is Satan, which deceiveth the whole world. He was cast out into the earth.
Okay.
So that go to proof of Genesis 1:1. So if we got heavens and earth.
But now, in the book of Genesis, what my point is that I don't recall reading where he created the devil in this beginning. After heaven and earth, he dealt with the land and the deep. But he didn't say nothing about, I'm going to create a devil that's going to give you hell. I didn't read that in the book of Genesis. And I know what I read. I might not read a lot, but whatever I done went over, I got it. And I did not read that. Somebody is putting a little fiction in it.
It is an account in the Bible, and it's in Genesis 2:7.
Yeah.
And you was cast down. But what does cast down mean? From a higher to a lower. So in the heavens, you were, but in order to not be in heaven, you had to come to earth. So to be on earth is the proof that you were in heaven. Can't no self be on earth if it wasn't in heaven.
Right.
Now, self can cast itself or separate. When you're no longer one with the Creator, that's called separation. So this is what they did when they created these texts. They started creating separators. So now here goes a separator that's familiar. And the Lord God formed man of the dust of the ground. And he breathed into his nostrils the breath of life, and man became a living soul. Now, in that instance, second creation in our image. And then you got another one that says, and the Lord God formed man of the dust of the ground.
Yeah, there's a lot going on here now.
Oh, this is easy cooking.
Oh, it's a lot going on because I remember reading all them scriptures then.
Right. These are divine teachings. That no one, if you in church, I want to drop this. I want them to understand if they in church receiving this, I want to know.
Oh, yeah.
Because this is the grandness. So now listen to the creation before that creation.
Yeah.
Now there's two accounts of creation right there. Here go the first account before Genesis 2. This is Genesis 1.
All right.
1 and 26. And God said, not the other one said, Lord God. As I take us back.
Well, that's kind of strange.
The other one say, and the Lord God formed man of the dust of the ground. This one said, and God said.
Okay, there go God game.
So two accounts. One God said, and then another one God formed. Lord God formed.
Yeah.
Meaning you got to have hands, feet to manifest.
Yeah.
So now when we talk about 126, this is a prior creation. This is speaking. It says, God said, let us make man in our image, after our likeness. So that's a different account. That didn't say nothing about the earth at that point. I'm going to read again. Did we hear the word earth? After our likeness.
It's right after heaven and earth.
There's two accounts going on. These two accounts is the two selves. But people are believers instead of scientists.
Yeah.
So they don't understand the sun and the moon.
Yeah.
They don't understand the sky and the earth.
Yeah.
They don't understand hot and cold.
Yeah.
They don't understand good and evil. So since that understanding is missed, now they got to experience it.
Yeah.
So these two accounts, one is from the earth, and one is from the heaven. God spoke, and one says earth or the ground. That's the lower self. Now, he who knows this rules over this realm. These are the two elite wisdoms that only elite knows. And this is what the elect knows. That's on the good side. The elite is the bad side, and this is what they use to cast spells. And one of the greatest spells today is the Super Bowl. The Super Bowl, the bowl represents a cup. And what you do with a cup is fill it. So the Super Bowl is one of the most filled moments of the biggest ritual to worship the devil and Satan.
Yeah.
Remember, the whole world deceived. They celebrating this ritual.
Yeah.
The whole world get together and celebrate this ritual, showing that the whole world is deceived by the deceivers. Because Allah said to you, he never made a heaven.
No.
He never made a hell for man.
No.
So this one said, God, Lord God formed man. Allah say, he never made a hell. He never made a heaven. for man. We are creators.
Mm.
We, meaning more than one.
Right on.
So that goes back to the two selves. One higher, representing heaven, one lower, representing hell. And with these two being a life that you can live, now you make your own. So now when we go back to the opening statement, in the beginning was the Word, and the Word, remember, self is the only creature speak word, and the Word was with God. So don't get confused because another term is being issued there.
Somebody will.
Who carries the Word?
You do.
There you go. So the Word was with self.
Yeah.
So this is where we understand, and it says, and the Word was God. So now self has been replaced with the Word God.
It's plain as day. It's plain as day.
And from that point, everybody been confused that God is not self, Satan is not self, any of these figures that got human features is not self.
Now, I would like to raise a question here on the word God. Could you elaborate on that? Because I think I heard you said that, and most folks don't know this him because they even bother to even look into it. I think you said the word God is a German word. Would you elaborate just a little bit on that and how that comes?
Because you brought that forward. Yes.
Because see, when we take off with God and we think we got everything, and look what somebody did right from the get-go is gave you this word, and that's why I want you to just emphasize on that.
I'm glad you brought that forward. Because that word was coming with the settlers. And the settler was of European descent. So when we have the word God and when we track the word God, God is a new term. God is not an ancient term. And so God, being a new term, comes with a new people. And the new people is the people that come to other people's lands. And the only people that come to other people's lands is settlers known as colonizers. And the biggest colonizers are the European nation. And inside the European nation, you have the German nation. And so the German nation is the Jewish nation. So G and J is interchangeable with Jew. So when we're talking about God, this is why, man, it gets very, very how everything has been turned and twisted by the Germans. And so this this German word God is different from the Greek word theos. So when we talking about in the beginning, when they using the word God, they could have used the word theos. And since they didn't use the word theos, they used the word God. God is traceable back to German. So German is the one who made the translation for the call upon their selves.
Look at this.
Because remember, it's a game of self. Trap. So once they intercepted self with the word God, now another nation can play God.
Yeah.
Because you're using that word that comes from that nation.
God bless America.
There we go. So that means Germans bless America. or that means Jews bless America.
What you say?
Germans and Jews is the same word.
Look at that there. I hope the people listening out there on the internet.
This is why the G and the Gentile.
Hey, what you say?
So we have to understand with the great question that you brought forth. This is why that word self, where it was on the pyramid, and even in the Greek, this is why I'm saying,
yeah,
even in the Greek, that came from a distinct group of people. And we still have the trace of the language to understand who it was.
Yeah.
And so as we see God, and we know, see, it says it, they stole that from Sanskrit.
Look at that.
God. So these people trace back to Sanskrit. And if you know your history, this is the Aryavatas. See, these are the people that they are called the Aryans or the Aryans.
Yeah, you know, I heard it.
Or the Third Reich Society. These are the same people. These people are cloaking themselves in other people's religion in order to bring forth their own their ethno religion. And this is where we come into the Jewish concept of the word God. So that word God has nothing to do with nothing but the sole agenda of who is the ruler of the land.
That's all that is. That's all that is.
And so the ruler of God is the ruler of land.
Yeah.
And so whoever brought us God is the ruler of our land.
Right on.
So to take back our land and become the creators of our land, we got to turn to our language, our word.
Yeah.
The word for God is self, the creator. This is what we got to get to as we keep moving.
Point the word God at will be whoever becomes God or make himself God, then he pretty much rule over everything. And now when you see the whole picture, the picture is crystal clear in my eyes. Don't y'all see the white supremacy ruling, playing God and ruling all over the earth as I speak? And he ruling and killing in the name of God. They quote scriptures and going and tearing up Palestine. Netanyahu quoting scriptures out the Bible and killing more Palestine than the law line. This is what's going on now. This God game, same thing we talking about. Same thing they doing today.
And so I hope what's understood is when we say God, we're calling on another. So now we begin with the insufficiency of knowledge before we start with the Sufa of creator.
The true creator.
Yes.
The divine creator.
So now that we are creators, now let's go to the end. This is before knowing that we are creators. This is called the insufficiency of knowledge. Number one, if there is anything lovely, if there's anything desirable, if there's anything within the reach of man that is worthy of praise, is it not knowledge? Anything lovely. This is what it's saying. If there's anything lovely, if there's anything desirable, if there's anything within the reach of man that is worthy of praise, is it not knowledge? Question mark.
The son just hearing that alone, man. We all are running after the wrong thing.
That's why the answer is in unity. You're supposed to be running after yourself. This is the only goal. Not after God, not after the devil,
We
not after.
got all intertwined and we running after other flesh instead of self.
Yes. It's not self. It's a part of self. It's not self. Remember, you have two selves, a heaven and a hell, or heaven and a earth. Words. But Allah never created either. So Allah can't be held as a God that created heaven and earth. No, you did that. Selfish did that. You as I as self is responsible for ourselves. So this is what we have to understand. This is why the only thing that's going to give that answer to extinguish the confusion of the fire of lies is the knowledge of truth. That word is self, not God. The word is self, not God. Next it says, and yet who is it that attain knowledge? Showing that this is attainable. Just anything that's desirable is attainable. So that's beautiful for us to just begin with that. And since now we know that we are creators, we're going to start with the Sufa. Bring the real word, the ancient word.
Ancient word. One of you who believe, let a creator. You don't hear that word, or you don't even see that nowhere written or being seen inside.
Right. See, word God is supposed to be there when it comes to believers. But the truth is, there's only one creator. And we're going to see at the end what this is all talking about.
3. And the fourth name of Allah, the one, the absolute, the almighty. Just think about that. The fourth name of there, and just put a plain word. Oh, I know why. If you have deception in mind, then you're getting ready to make your move. Go ahead.
And see, this is why the teachings of Esau are so important, known as Jesus, because these events transpire to create a greater understanding of the knowledge. That is not even a word that Jesus called the Father. Jesus didn't call him God. Jesus called him the Father.
Sure did. He sure did.
And see, it's a reason because Jesus understood that God has specifics.
Yeah.
And God's name is specific. So instead of people blaspheming the creator, now they substitute the creator's word and they create a euphemism.
Yeah, that's exactly what's going on.
They create a minced oath.
Yeah.
So see, God is a minced oath for the creator. See, every time you say it, you are taking an oath. It's a short version of taking an oath.
Oh, man.
This is why it is, these things don't swear. Don't speak my name in vain.
Goodness gracious.
But don't everybody slang God as a word around and promote it as it's they promote it just in blasphemy.
Well, boy, that's hard to accept when you hear people taking the oath by pronouncing or just saying the word out loud, the word God.
Your president said, You got to look who say this stuff. Look who say this stuff. Like these people getting inaugurated and they saying this.
See, that's right.
So what you think if you say them same, if you say words that he said, you are under him, not equal to him. Let me make that clear and say that again. When a president make an inauguration, when he say in God is so and so, that is a oath. So now when you use the same word your king used or president, you are under his authority. So everyone keeps saying oaths of their authority, who they belong to. And so if that is not waxed and cleansed and baptized out of the mind, not out of the flesh, out of the mind, this is what baptism is for, to remove lies. The baptism of truth, wash away and cleanse the lies by the truthful word.
Since you said that, I'm just thinking about how depends upon where you live in that land. Is that, say for instance, in England, you have the king and the queen, and then the people are subject to them as though they're some god. And when they see they got like this saying, you're
seen death yet, but there's more and more coming. Keep using these words and not thinking that they don't have effects and spirits that comes associated with words.
That's what I'm talking about.
So you don't hear the president going on the Bible and swear to Jehovah. I'm just saying like clear things. Because they are knowing that that's not the same entity as God. Anyone, God is a generic term by now. The way they have stole it, usurped it, and used it is now a generic term. And now man can play God. God. But we think it's not been created. So man can stand under it and rule people, minds, and bodies.
And I would like to point this out also, like in the Catholic Church, they go to this little peephole and they'll be confessing all these the priests sinned it, and he come to confess his sin.
They believe that. That's why. So that's what I mean. These are. This is. See, when we an English man, take an oath on the colleague. This is my point.
Never ever.
So if you speak word, so this is what I'm trying to get black people to Moses. You would say the Torah, which has not been, at least know this. This is why they created language to hijack all this power. Language. Talking about pray. We ain't talking praying in English. We talking about praying with these. Self is the creator.
Number 4. Behold, all things. All things. You know, and when you stop and think a moment and you involve it, you can't even find the word to describe that how powerful it is, man. Behold, the creator of all things, all that you can see and do and touch. No.
All things.
Oh, not some. Not some.
Yes, this is what we have to recognize.
Not some. Oh. And then it goes on to say in verse 5, the author and grantor existence. Now, boy, it don't get no sweeter than that. And when I think of author, all I can think about these little writers around here and they wrote all these books, and they the author of these books. And then people wants to talk with them and get advice from them because they smart and educated and they know about books and they can maybe enlighten you of that you don't know. Author. One true author. The real author. The real grantor. You know, when you're doing paperwork in the courthouse, you're dealing with you see certain words on these papers, and I'm seeing this here. I see that word grantor. It pops up. Words are powerful, and words are telling you something.
They are scientific instruments to manifest. As like I was speaking earlier, it's about the two cells. One cell was created through speaking. One cell was formed from the earth. So when you put stuff on paper, that's forming something from the earth. Mm-hmm. We have to understand higher laws. You use higher laws against lower laws. This has always been the case for wise masters. When you're dealing with knowledge of self as I am, you into self-mastery. You're not into anything else. Everything else is less. Mm-hmm. The creator is self. Mm-hmm. You got to master yourself through these 144 characters to know your fullness of who you are. Mm-hmm. You are the seed that hold every attribute of God within itself. Mm-hmm. And being lazy and distracted by lesser gods, demons, and spirits cannot fully ripen itself. They take a whole understanding of knowledge itself. This is the author, as you were saying, of books. When you go into Revelation or you go into Genesis, you got the tree of life. In the Revelation, you got the book of life. These things are talking about who author life. The author and the grantor of existence. We don't pay no mind to that we exist and someone had to author our existence. But no one wants to find that if they're not searching for knowledge of self, because that's where the answer lies. You have to take all your prior knowledge and throw it in the trash. Only thing sound in your mind is mathematics. When it comes to words, arrangement, structure, what they mean, you don't know what they mean because they're not created for you to know what they mean. It's created to create an occult effect to say many things with one word. So English have 7 different meanings for every word. Yeah. Every word got 7 different meanings. It'll mess you up and confuse you too. But not with a law. A law is all language, all words. So it doesn't matter. Yeah. And it doesn't have any confusion. So now we take ourselves back by creating our awareness and connecting it with Allah. This is why they hate Islam, because Islam is self-knowledge. And the way self-knowledge is brought in Islam is through the name of Allah. No one ever did this in life but the 2 people after the great people who came in the before. This is why to understand, especially believers. I don't never know if they will understand. But yeah, people are so gone from the teachers, they even prophets coming from the same origin. Yeah, that's right. Some people deny Muhammad, some people deny Jesus. How can you deny if you're looking into these teachings?
Yeah. Now, I just always had a problem with that. Even when I was in Christianity, studying that, the people had it so bad in Christianity that it wasn't Jesus. Muhammad came. Muhammad and was different. They both came in truth, but for some reason, Muhammad truth ain't no good.
That's to the Catholics. That's who told all this. They don't like it because they don't. We got to understand the foundation of why they don't like Islam. It's not that Islam is not true. It's that it's so true that if everybody find this truth out, they can't have no power. They can't have no rulership.
Yeah.
They need you to not know that you equal. This is why they teach you from a jitterbug that you a sinner.
Yeah.
And you need Christ.
I heard that yesterday.
You a sinner and you need Christ.
Yes.
Christ is your only way to God. See, and all these Christians stay with the settler, the colonizer, the alien, the European alien.
Yeah. Yeah.
These is what we're speaking on.
Yeah.
Not all Europeans, but those who not standing in the honor of spirit and in the honor of divine law, not true Christians.
That's right.
This is beyond belief. This is about living. And when we're talking about living, who gave life? This is why they had to create what they created, because they want to make it seem Jesus gave you life. Yeah. And Jesus came to give you life because he got the only connection to God. Now, everything is true in the death until you get into merging these things and saying that someone came and died for all. Yeah. Now, we got to, if you know you got to yourself, you got to question this. I can see if you know that you ain't going through it like the people who already passed.
Right.
But if you got to come to it, meaning you got to come to death, you might want to really evaluate why you got time.
Yeah.
So what is being said is that another man would die for all other men, women, sin.
Yeah, and take away. That don't make no sense.
So now this is logically when we take it out the anthropomorphic stage where you add in human qualities to it. Yeah. Let's bring it back to logic. Yeah. Will good die for something evil?
That don't make no sense, man.
So this is what the people are saying. They're saying that I could just be evil because someone died for my sin. This is where original sin connects to Christianity. And this is supposed to represent salvation. See, it's a difference between salvation and a difference between redemption. See, our people needs to be redeemed. I'm going to read something that Allah tells us. Man will be fully saved.
Fully saved.
He will be fully saved, redeemed, perfected by the things he saw. This is what we must create. We must create our redemption. These knowledge is coming through. To get into eternity, you have to have the pure sciences. When we're talking about God, in actuality, God is just the sciences of pure sciences. When you understand purification, then you start understanding the Creator. Self is redeemed through purification and the purified. And this is just the end all be all. Nothing else matters but self-purification. Self is perfected by self-purification. Perfect and pure is the same word. You become perfect when you fect your purity.
Yeah, right on.
When you create, fect means to make. The form we supposed to make is the form of purity.
That's right.
Redeeming the lower self, redeeming the higher self, and not everything is going back to the eternal realm.
Yeah.
All is one.
6, the designer of its planes and complexity. Designer of its plans and complexity. As your plans coming along, complexity. Is he doing a good job with it? So the maker of all life,
Sufian,
the maker of all life. Who wants to kill a man named Bill? Kill Bill, and Bill kills. The maker of all life, not the destroyer of all life. Who wants to kill? Who wants? Number 6, the bringer of the heavens. 9, the architect of all knowledge and civilization. And just to share, and you yourself get learning now. But I know it makes me feel good, y'all. Last verse. Without the existence of Allah, the concept of nothing could not exist. Without the existence of Allah, what more we need to hear? What more we need to know? Talking. It's time to do. So we know now that anything within joy and harm innocent people. Learn all about your divinity and learn who you are. And many thought they knew, they know.
that's why I just advise, people just to really watch my videos if you really want to learn. Because in today's world, no one ain't really put enough time in. You gotta literally become, this is all you do to understand this stuff. And if it's not all you do, then you're not going to fully understand. This stuff is beyond imagination. I understand now, just through going through the effort so much more and more, is that why people had to study this knowledge 40 years before even getting initiated to the higher realm. Because just going through my phase, people don't get it. We don't get what we're supposed to be learning. We don't understand the plot of why you're waking up every day. We think it's to do the bull crap that you do, and everything that is known is supposed to be just unknown. Everybody just want to walk around in belief and act like nothing else exists, and act like, most importantly, death doesn't exist. So when we come into the understanding of the Creator, who is the Creator? Because I don't like to talk to myself. That's why I'm trying to get open to people, so, and see if you know, so we can keep moving forward and on. Because I don't want to leave the book because you're getting to end. That don't mean you know anything. Can you answer questions that's concerning you about your life? And I'm asking, online, in the room, anything. Anybody who want to come forward, join, ask questions, answer questions, come forward. I'm tired of being solo in this understanding. Someone in the universe got to want this understanding as bad. And so the Creator, different texts being brought forth, no questions, no nothing. God, Satan, devil, no question. We got all understanding. I done said a lot. I said God. Nobody ain't confused, nothing. These,
Where we were sent to the school and all.
it's like nobody got even school intelligence no more, man. It's like
so
everybody.
I ask you, when some raise their hand, they want to be a policeman, or they want to be a doctor, or they want to be a lawyer, or they want to be an engineer. They want to be all that. They start you out on the wrong foot, really. That's all. You're young and you're growing up and starting to school. This is what they teach you. What they ask you the question, what you want to be. Who are thou? Who can you about yourself? What can you say?
The floor is open. So anybody want to come forward as a self-contained, the Creator.
And if you got all these positions, some of these towns, people call themselves wearing the same Creator role, but now they design. They designed that. So you do all this here, that don't swell your head up a little bit, and now you get to thinking, well, hey, I don't need, all I need is what I can.
You have to give paid homage to the Creator. creating all of who being able to create anything that we want to create. We've been gifted with abilities to be able. None of this would be possible for us to do if it wasn't for people or others before us.
And and I used to think about that as well. And I thought about when I used to live and die for the world, for the sin of the world. And then I thought about this as well, that before Jesus even came on the scene or on the earth, they were righteous and man doing good before Jesus even came. But they don't get any credit, no problem. They don't get the credit that Jesus gets because of the fact that when they connect Jesus with God being the Son of God, there's another track right there too now, because you can see man what he's doing now. You could just see the deception take place there now. Now he not connect one and only, and yours truly, to the Son of God, and this is the Son, and this name happens to be Jesus Christ. And now all those lead through him.
And I'll just tell you, that's where most people going. You know yourself to correct it. Now, I ain't talking your flesh, I'm talking about your mind.
Mm-hmm.
That's where you're going. You're going exactly where your mind is on. That's not a hidden fact. That is an open fact. So if you don't have nothing on your mind but a lie, and like I'm saying, I don't see how people. I just the creator. We talking about science is past a doctor. A doctor know how to take the flesh and do surgery on it and mend it back together. When we talking about higher laws, these are souls.
Yeah.
I know how to work on a soul level. I don't do nothing physical because I'm not physical. I work on a soul level. I live with what's eternal. The things I'm working on ain't earthly. I'm not growing plants and trees. I'm growing self. This is what separates one from another. One is either doing else or one is doing self. I know what I'm becoming. I'm doing what I'm becoming. I'm responsible for myself. So everybody else is responsible for themselves. Jesus already told y'all scared and you're afraid of your own self. He said that you are God. So why are y'all still in this 2,000-year conundrum if you reading these things and actually moving around in life? Now I'm here to just tell you even clearer. That is knowledge of self. All that y'all talking about is self. The goal is for you to purify yourself. There's no other goal. Erase everything. It's to purify yourself. This is what these teachings are for. It's not for you to talk about God. It's not about for you to talk about Allah. It's not for you to talk about people. This is for you as self to learn the knowledge of purification. How do you purify yourself? How do you purify yourself from thinking bad thoughts? How do you purify yourself from having misery? How do you purify yourself from always suffering? Why do you always got a problem? This is what self-knowledge is for. Consciousness. Consciousness is the science of all law. This is self. Stop. What are you doing? Turn God into self turn devil into self, turn Satan into self. What you praying to is self. What you're doing is to self. Understand self. You want to understand everything else in life, objects, flesh, but you don't want to understand self.
No doubt.
Self is all these things. Whatever name you're going to put on is self. You say him, that's self. You say you, that's self. You say that, that's self. You say this, that's self. Stop blaming and start reclaiming purity. Start doing the practices that purifies your soul. Your flesh is going to always be your flesh. It's not the higher law. You have to understand what is connected to the soul. And that activity is what matters in life. Not what activity you do with the flesh. It's not what destroys the self. And when you speak less of yourself and greater of another, you don't get knowledge of self. Knowledge of self is for you to talk proudly of yourself, to talk highly of yourself. You're not arrogant because you have knowledge of. You talk about what you will and will not be. You have your own individuality. You don't have to subscribe, limit yourself to anyone's poverty. They want poverty for themselves, let that be. If they don't want consciousness, let that be. If they thriving in ignorance, let them live. You live. Start living for self. Stop looking at other success. Stop going on other people's pages, listening, watching, and you ain't bringing that home to yourself. And you ain't happy. You ain't doing the things that's making you happy. You ain't doing the things that's making you happy. Don't have children if you don't want to have children. Don't have sex if you don't want to have sex. Don't do any of these things if you don't want to do it. Do the things that make you happy. Me, myself, that's what I do every day. Everything that makes me happy. Why would I not do it? I will be a fool to do something that brings me into misery. So why knowledge of self is not taught in this way? Knowledge of self is taught that you got to go worship the creator. Allah is not God. Don't do the same thing. You don't go doing the same. You've been doing that in Christianity. Allah is self. Stop worshiping other beings. Worship yourself. Worship yourself. This is what the ultimate truth is that will set you free. Can't even say make these days because people ain't even got it in these days. How many times the Bible has been preached over 50 years older than I've been alive? I don't need to hear it anymore if you don't know what you need to know of self. God has nothing to do with self if you don't know self. If you don't know self and you calling on God, God has nothing to do with self. If you know God to be self and you calling on God, that's a different case. But understand the teachings. If you know self, you know Allah. This ain't got nothing to do. Islam ain't about reading no scriptures. Islam is about devotion to self-knowledge. And I'm not loud. I speak clearly when it comes to self-knowledge. This ain't nothing you ramp about. I'm not talking about God and Jonas and sitting on the. I'm talking about self. You wake up every day and do things in a 24-hour span. The things you do, are they making you happy constantly? Every action should have happiness.
Right on.
Is the intention.
Right on.
If happiness is not your intention, why? This is intentional to come online to give the happiness. The happiness is the knowledge of self. If one doesn't have to subscribe to belief if one don't choose to believe it. I don't believe what you believe. And that's right in divine reality. You don't have to believe what I believe. That's right in divine reality. This is why Islam don't force anything upon anyone. This is your willingness to submit to your own self. Not submitting to the bow down. Y'all don't get the science yet. Why 5?
Yeah. Why not 6? Why not 6?
Why not 1?
Why not 1?
Why not be? Why not be the prayer? Why not be the will? Why praying? That's the same thing. The same Islam of the Quran and the same Christianity of the Bible is the same God. They do the same acts. Pray, 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 but the world in catastrophe. And these supposed to be holy people. These are self-serving people. They learned the game and they never taught you the game. That's called pimping you out. They ain't gonna tell you the truth. They're gonna have you foot the bill, work your legs off, work your heart out of order, breathe yourself till you can't work no more, and you ain't got nothing left, even a study for yourself. Self is divine by nature. So when we're talking about Super 4 and the Creator, this has nothing to do with creation. Self needs to get its act together and know that it's not the flesh. You are not anything created. Self is uncreated, therefore the creator of all creations. Self is creating everything that is in existence, even your death. So why is anything different? People don't know. If they say you came into this life yourself. You chose. Just like you gonna choose on the death. This is all appointed by your higher self. This needs to be known because the maker of all life, and when we're talking about life, self makes life. I don't have a child and I know I can make a life. Come on with it. So what are y'all speaking on? If you can make a child, do you not have life? Can you make life if you dead? Have y'all seen a dead body produce a child? So that means the self is no longer in the body. So the self is not the flesh. The self is Allah in man. The consciousness that is the creator of all creation. So when you make a child, for those who have children, did you lose yourself or are you still in existence? Come on, let's get to logical thinking here. The greatest thing they call a son of God, and here you can have a son, and then you don't even say you even nowhere close to a God. This is how stupid our people are becoming into beliefs and idealism of hate and self. This is self-hate. To be able to recreate yourself years down the line, and then you hate yourself. You hate your younger self. You hate your older self. You hate everything about yourself. Why is so much hate? because you don't understand knowledge of self. Allah never made heaven. Allah never made hell. We, you, I, self are the creators, and we make our own. So we're created as the creator. As the divine teachers, the holy instructions tell you, you are the creator. Super 4 is telling you, you are the creator. Not you talking to a creator. You are the creator. So exactly how you created a child, this is how all life is created. Ain't nothing no different. Darkness and light is those images, but the sun and the moon. And if you ain't witnessed yourself, it's not the sun, and you witness yourself is not the moon, you existed while both of these things existed. So what are you? Wake up to who you are. You are a divine, immortal being playing dumb. Stop playing dumb, because that is going to get you to an exact location. There's a location in your body for people who want to act dumb after death. I'm going to say that again. It's a location in your body for you yourself after you die, since you want to play dumb. You know how they say the smoking area over there? The smoking section, if you want to smoke, go over there. Well, your body holds a special place for dummies. And all dummies will go here and be collected here. Because this is what you believed in. You didn't believe in that you are a creator of divinity. So now we have different people taking the place of yourself, acting out the things that you should be acting out for yourself, being the things that you should be for yourself. You letting others run around with your power, with your glory, acting as they the king of the hill. And they came out of a woman just like you. Somehow everybody's unequal, but everybody was born the same way. Somehow people believe a son of God, but they don't believe in themselves. Some people call on names, but don't call on themselves. How do we get in this situation? By words being changed from self to God. As y'all say, for believers of Jesus, I have said, ye are gods, and all of you are children of the Most High. You are the gods, and all of you are children of the Most High. And it's the absolute Almighty. These names that you see with Allah, this is what self is. Absolute, Almighty, the one. So this is the understanding of why the creator is the Khaliq, the Ali, the Kali. So Noble Drew Ali came and brought us the knowledge of the Khaliq. But we wouldn't know these things unless you are these things. These things are of your origin. These is not something outside of yourself. This is the full dimension of the universe and self. Your body being your universe that you yourself live in. And you will go from body to body to live in higher and higher realms. If you believe, if you know, and you possess that truth while in the awakened existence. The creator of existence, the author, is one thing about an author, and that is they know they the author of their own book. So know how to create itself into existence. The designer of its plans, listen to these qualitative, the creator, the author, the designer, the maker, the bringer, the architect. And without the existence, and without the existence of self, the concept of nothing could not exist. Come on now. So nothing, what is nothing? Let's just put it in quick terms. When you ain't got no money. Oh. I'm going to tell you like this. When you ain't got no money, self still exists. And we're going to close with that power.
Still exists.